Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Arsenal were disappointed with the 2020 signings late season form. Not inconceivable he could now leave. There was disappointment at Arsenal over the late season form of Thomas Partey, who could now potentially leave the Gunners during the summer transfer window. That's according to a report from the Times, which suggests that it's not inconceivable that Thomas Partey could move on in the coming months. For much of the season, Arsenal fans would have been staggered had they been told there would be a question mark over Partey's future at the Emirates. Obviously, the Ghanaian has had his injury problems in North London, but when he has been available, he has largely been outstanding for Mikel Arteta's side, and he had arguably never been better for Arsenal than he was for most of this past season. But like a few others in the Gunners' side, his form started to tail off towards the end of the campaign. The Times notes that there is interest from Italy in Partey, and it's not out of the question that he could leave the Emirates in this window, particularly if Moses Caicedo is signed. The report notes that there was disappointment at Arsenal about the midfielder's late season form. Arsenal are looking to take a step to the next level this summer. They cannot afford to go backwards after coming so close to winning the Premier League title. Unfortunately, Partey is difficult to rely on, so if they receive a substantial offer, Arsenal may feel that the opportunity is too good to turn down. It's a surprising turn of events, but as Arsenal look to make several steps forward, more ruthless decisions will need to be made, and that may include what happens next with Partey. Champions League semi-finalists have just made late offer for a special Arsenal player. AC Milan are not yet ready to admit defeat in the battle to sign Reiss Nelson, with the Rossoneri making one final offer for the Arsenal starlet before he signs a new contract. That's according to a report from Calciomercato, which notes that Milan have made a late bid for the 23-year-old. It has appeared in recent times that Reiss Nelson is destined to stay at Arsenal for much of the campaign. There was a question mark over the attacking midfielder's future. His current contract expires in the coming days. However, it seemed that he was ready to commit his future to Arsenal. Fabrizio Romano reported in the last few days that Arsenal had reached a full agreement with Nelson over a deal that would run until 2027. He even gave the news the here we go treatment with the update, but it seems that Milan have made one last push. Calciomercato reports that the Champions League semi-finalists have made a late offer for Nelson in the hope that they can convince him into a U-turn. It would be a big shock if Nelson decided to move away from Arsenal now. Everything appears to suggest that he is happy to remain at the Emirates. He will have been aware for some time that he faced a battle to get into Mikel Arteta's side, but he is seemingly ready for the challenge. So unless Milan make a ludicrous offer for the youngster, it's hard to imagine that his head could be turned at this late stage. It will be a further boost for Arsenal when their special academy graduate commits his future to the club. And with that, plenty of fans will probably be fairly relaxed about the report concerning a late offer from Milan. Now, a serious possibility Arsenal teenager leaves this summer. Three Premier League rivals interested. There is serious doubt over whether Ethan Nwaneri will sign a new contract to stay at Arsenal this month, with Chelsea amongst those ready to move if the 16-year-old becomes available. That's according to a report from The Athletic, which suggests that both Manchester City and Manchester United are monitoring the situation. Ethan Nwaneri, of course, made an incredibly significant appearance for Arsenal this past season. The attacking midfielder came on for the final moment of the emphatic win over Brentford back in September. In the process, he became the youngest player in Premier League history. However, Mikel Arteta would not include him in the squad again for the rest of the campaign, and it seems that there is now a good chance that that will prove to be his only appearance for Arsenal. The Athletic is reporting that there is serious doubt over whether Nwaneri will sign a new contract. His current terms come to an end this month, and it seems that Chelsea and Manchester City are on pole position to battle for his signature. Meanwhile, Manchester United are also keen. Obviously, Nwaneri will have his reasons for leaving if that is what he decides to do. However, it's a surprise that he is not content to stay with Arsenal. He is someone who is clearly on Mikel Arteta's radar, and Arteta has been willing to put his faith in younger players during his tenure. That pathway to the first team has arguably been much harder to find at clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City in recent years. Nwaneri is obviously some way of being ready for the highest level, but that will surely be a factor in his decision on his future. It seems that he may feel that staying at Arsenal may not be his best option heading into the summer. Arsenal can now sign Fenerbahce player Arda Güler. Arsenal have been linked with a move to sign Fenerbahce youngster Arda Güler this summer, and Fabrizio Romano has shared an update on his release clause. The Gunners are set to be very active in this window. Central midfield is the priority, but like they do every summer, don't be surprised to see Edu bring in a really talented young player. Fenerbahce's Güler, who is still just 18, could be the player, and Romano has claimed on Twitter that he will be available for a very affordable fee this summer. Just 2 weeks ago, Turkish football claimed that Newcastle and Arsenal are leading the race to sign Arda Güler this summer. The outlet claimed that the Gunners have already made contact with Güler's family, who represent him, over a move to England before the start of next season. Güler is one of Turkey's finest young talent. He has had a very impressive season for Fenerbahce as well, scoring 6 goals and providing 7 assists in just 18 starts. It's only a matter of time before Güler leaves Fenerbahce for a bigger club, and Romano has claimed that he has an active release clause that makes him available for just £15 million. He tweeted, "Understand Turkish gem Arda Güler will be now available for just 17.5 million euros fee net after taxes solidarity. Yes, just 17.5 million euros for one of the biggest talent in Europe, as release clause will be activated after playing 1,500 minutes. Many top clubs trying to convince the player." Arda Güler is a fine talent. Everyone in Turkey knows how good he is and how huge his potential is. Güler, still only 18, is extremely versatile. He can play on both wings as a number 8, 10, and even as a second striker. He is phenomenal on the ball, and he will only get better in the coming years. Arsenal have had real success with the acquisitions of young players over the last few years. Güler could well be Ado's next impressive teenage signing. Talksport Pundit suggests Arsenal could win the league if they sign £35 million attacker. Pundit Dean Saunders has suggested that Arsenal could mount a title challenge next season if they sign Sadio Mane this summer. Speaking on Talksport, Saunders was discussing with an Arsenal fan what business they should be doing before next season. Mikel Arteta will be desperate to build on the successes of last season. A return to the Champions League was exactly what the club needed after 7 years away from Europe's top competition. Although they fell short in their bid to topple Manchester City in the Premier League, they were comfortably the next best team in the league. Reinforcements are needed this summer to improve the squad further, and Arsenal have now been urged to sign Sadio Mane. The Senegalese international has torn the Premier League apart in the past with Liverpool and Southampton. However, after leaving Anfield last summer, his move to Bayern München hasn't quite gone to plan. A return to the Premier League might not be the worst idea in the world. An Arsenal fan called into Talksport suggesting the club needed cover for Bukayo Saka going into next season. Saunders responded and said, "Who's he got there at the minute? Gabriel Martinelli on the left. He got Edin Ketia. He got Jesus, Bukayo Saka. I have got one for you, and he might win you the league. Sadio Mane. What a signing that would be. he plays anywhere in attack. There have already been suggestions that Mane could leave Bayern in the upcoming transfer window. Newcastle have been linked with a move for the £35 million forward. Liverpool have also been urged to try and bring Mane back to the club. It does appear as though a player in Mane's position is a priority for Arsenal this summer. Arteta wants to improve his midfield options and may look at defenders too. Mane didn't set the world on fire in the Bundesliga last season, scoring 7 goals and providing 5 assists in 25 league games. He had off-the-pitch issues too after a bust-up with teammate Leroy Sané. The 31-year-old could provide the Gunners with some much-needed experience in the squad. He knows exactly what it takes to win the Premier League and the Champions League. Manchester United seen as bigger threat than Arsenal to sign unbelievable midfielder this summer. Manchester United are seen as a bigger threat to Chelsea signing Moses Caicedo than Arsenal this summer. A report from The Athletic has outlined more potential incomings at Stamford Bridge in the coming months. After narrowly missing out on Moses Caicedo in January, Arsenal won't want to lose out on him again this summer. Manager Roberto De Zerbi all but confirmed the Ecuadorian star would be leaving after helping Brighton qualify for Europe for the first time. His performances throughout the season were extraordinary. It's hard to believe he is only 21 years old, given the maturity he has shown on the pitch. Although his best role is in midfield, De Zerbi has played him at fullback this season, and he performed exceptionally. Chelsea believe Man United are more of a threat to them signing Caicedo than Arsenal. The Gunners are currently concentrating on signing Declan Rice from West Ham. However, they are keen to play him alongside Caicedo if possible next season. The report from The Athletic suggests that Chelsea want two midfielders this summer and are very keen on Caicedo. However, they need to generate enough money from sales to be able to afford the unbelievable midfielder. Arsenal have been linked with Caicedo, but Manchester United are perceived to be a bigger threat. Brighton have valued Caicedo at over £70 million and may hope a bidding war breaks out between the three clubs. Arsenal's pursuit of Declan Rice is likely the thing affecting their pursuit of Caicedo the most. Although Mikel Arteta would be delighted to sign both players, it would be a huge outlay for Arsenal. They may need to wait until several players have been sold before committing that much money to a second central midfielder, presuming they sign Rice. Unlike Arsenal with Rice, Manchester United don't appear to be in advanced talks with any player who could cost as much as Caicedo. This may be why they are in the best position to sign the Ecuadorian at this time. There is an 80% chance unbelievable player goes and signs for Arsenal now, says a journalist. There is now an 80% chance Declan Rice signs for Arsenal this summer. That's according to Dean Jones, who was writing on the Ranks FC Patreon page about the West Ham midfielder. As everyone ought to know by now, Rice is Arsenal's top transfer target heading into the summer window, and it looks as though Adil is getting closer and closer to being completed. Jones says that the unbelievable player loves the idea of playing for Arsenal and that he will probably sign, but he did add an important caveat in that Manchester City could come and scupper the deal. Jones gave his verdict on this potential transfer. I would describe Price as 80% sure to join Arsenal as of right now. He loves the idea of it. If it starts to drag on, there is a small chance it's hijacked. If that happens, it might be Man City. I don't think it will happen, but it might. They definitely have made an inquiry after him, and if he suddenly has an offer from the champions of Europe, led by Pep, it will be very hard to turn down. But anyway, he is probably going to Arsenal. Arsenal need to get a move on and get this deal done because, as Jones says, the longer this drags on, the more chance there will be of a hijack. Fabrizio Romano echoed the same sentiment earlier this week, and it sounds as though this is something Arsenal need to genuinely be wary of. Luckily, it sounds as though the Gunners are in the box seat at the moment, but as we know, when it comes to the transfer market, things can change at the drop of a hat. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.